Hi, and thanks for tuning in to another episode of Be the Teacher. On today's episode, we're going to discuss some of the ways that you can use your iPad to make a professional-looking movie. Many of the techniques that we use today will also be available on your iPhone or your iPod Touch. Making a movie on your iPad is easier than it sounds. Yes, you can use the camera app that comes installed on your iPad, but what I recommend is downloading and investing in a couple of really great apps. Each of these apps can be found in the App Store. The first app that I recommend downloading is an app called Filmic Pro. Depending on the platform, iPhone, iPod Touch, or iPad, it can cost anywhere between $5 and $10. Filmic Pro will turn your iPad camera into a professional camera, and it will allow you to adjust certain aspects such as exposure and focus. Another app that you may be interested in downloading is Pinnacle Studios. Pinnacle Studio is an editing software. It used to be called Avid. If you are familiar with editing software, you know that Avid is a professional software that people use in the film industry to edit movies. Pinnacle is an iPad version of that software, and it's great, giving you so many different features that you'll find fun to experiment with. Yes, it does cost money, somewhere between $5 and $10 depending on the platform that you're downloading it for, but it is well worth the price. Another app that you may be interested in investing in is Imovie. Now, I prefer Pinnacle, but Imovie does have its advantages. The Imovie trailer feature is a great feature, and some of their special effects are awesome. Imovie costs between $5 and $10 depending on the platform that you're downloading it for. Still, I prefer Pinnacle and Filmic Pro for most of my work. Back on our home screen, you'll see that we're ready to go into Filmic Pro. As I said before, Filmic Pro allows you to turn your camera into a professional-grade camera. It has a number of settings that are customizable, like this green circle or this blue square. The green circle is your exposure. By sliding it around the screen, I get to determine how much light is let into the camera. The blue square is your focus. I can also slide that around the screen and decide, do I want to focus on this chair or this beautiful chihuahua? By tapping the symbols down below that match those, I can set them and keep them locked in. The square with the two triangles is your white balance, so once the white looks the way you want it, you can set that as well. The red button over to the right begins recording, so as you can see now, I'm recording. I'm recording Tanita. And once I'm done recording Tanita, I can hit the button again and filming will end. By tapping on the settings feature, I can actually change some of the settings of the app. I can go in and determine what speed and size each clip of video is going to be. Am I going to save space on my hard drive, or am I going to go to the extreme and make those files super big and super clear? Back in my settings menu, I can change lots of things, enable a slate, even turn on my stabilization feature. But let's go back to our camera. Click the film strip icon to preview the videos that you've recorded. By tapping the individual videos, you can hit play and actually see what it is you've recorded. She is precious. Let's choose to keep this video. So I can hit pause, share, and save it to my camera roll. Or I could save multiple videos by clicking Edit, selecting the different videos, and copy to camera roll. That's it. They're saved to my camera roll, and I can go back to my home screen to go and edit. Once you're back to your home screen, you can turn on Pinnacle Studios. Pinnacle Studios will automatically access your camera roll. So, once you've stored and copied your files to your camera roll, you'll be able to import them into your timeline on Pinnacle Studios. You create a new project by pushing the plus sign, and then simply naming your project. We'll call this one Tanita James. Once you're done, select OK, and your movie will be ready. Your workspace is divided into 3 different areas: your videos that are available, your preview screen, and your timeline. Along the left-hand side of the screen, you'll see that there's a number of different options. You can return home, preview your media, access your photos, import the music that's stored on your iPad. review transitions, import titles, and look at the different theme packs that are available. You have your preview window. So if we go back into our media, you'll notice that all of your videos that are available on the camera roll have been imported into Pinnacle. And look, there's Tanita at the bottom of the page. If we click on one of her videos, the preview screen is activated. And we're able to preview Nita by grabbing the dial at the bottom of the screen and moving it back and forth. You can also use these yellow areas to determine how much of the video you'd like to import. You can import the entire video, or you can select part of the video that you'd like to include. For example, if I set my marker at about there, and I select the other marker and drag it to about there, when I click my import arrow, or the big arrow that's pointing down, it will automatically import just that amount into my timeline. If you look back at the available videos, you'll notice that the time on my video has changed. It says the entire clip is about 11 seconds, but I'm only using about 2 seconds of that video. Also, notice how it says 1.20. This is because we are editing in 30 frames per second, or 30 FPS. You can change the frame per second by accessing your settings, which are located in the upper right-hand corner of your screen. Movies are normally filmed in 24 frames per second, so by using the minus key, we can tap down to 24 frames per second, and when we return to our movie, you can see that the time has actually changed. Now we have 1.16, because every 24 frames makes up a second of your film. We can add additional pieces of film by clicking on them, like this one here that was slated. Well, let's see. I want to get Nita as she's walking away. So again, I grab my beginning arrow and slide it to where I want to start my film. Then I grab my end arrow and select the part that I want to be the end of my film. When I click the down arrow, it will automatically import it where the red line is. That red line is where my movie is right now. Whatever is touching that red line is what's appearing in my preview screen. Now, I can go back to the beginning, hit play, and view my movie from beginning to end. I can also watch my movie in widescreen by tapping the Expand Screen button next to my Settings feature. By tapping it again, I'm back in preview mode. I can also make cuts to video that is in my timeline. By tapping the razor blade and hitting video, the video will be split at the moment that the red line is touching. By hitting the backwards arrow by the microphone, I can actually erase that change, or I can bring it back by hitting that forward arrow that was activated once I tried to undo a change. By clicking on a scene twice, I can actually make changes to the speed, to the volume, and I could even create an audio fade in or audio fade out. I could even delete that particular clip by hitting the trash can. By tapping on a scene 3 times, I actually can separate the audio from the video. So now my audio track can be replaced or moved around. These are some of the basic features that are necessary to edit a film. First, you import the media. Then you access your media, determine how much of your media you'd like to include using the arrows, and once your red line is in place, you can import that media into your movie. Once I have a series of videos in place, I can go to my transitions, or the lightning bolt, and I can simply drag those transitions in between the different storyboard squares, or I could drag them directly into my timeline. Now I have a transition in place, and when I push play, you can see that there's a nice crossfade. I could experiment with my transitions too. I can drag in this push feature, and now when I go back and play, I can see how that would look. Pinnacle also allows you to add titles by clicking the T, tapping a title, and dragging it over the actual storyboard square. I get this composite message, which allows me to insert text. By tapping on the text, I can replace the text with what I want. For example, Tanita James. And then, with my finger, I can drag the text to any place in the film where I'd like it to be. When I'm done, all I have to do is hit these 2 wheels right in the lower corner of my preview screen, and it will render that particular montage or title. That kind of means that it's making it official. really putting it into your movie. And this way, when you preview, it will appear. There it is, Tanita James. Those are some of the basic things that you need to know about making a movie. Remember, you can access your media that you've copied to your camera roll. Once you preview that media, you can adjust the side, and then you can add transitions and titles simply by dragging them to the place that you want them. Titles can even stand alone if you'd like. For example, I could say, "The End." Thanks for being the teacher, and I guess we'll see you on another episode of Be the Teacher.